Today, we are finding out so much with Kash Patel being up on the Hill testifying before Congress. We're getting more details about the Charlie Kirk murderer and what led to the poisoning of his mind towards Christian belief, towards conservative values, Donald Trump, Charlie Kirk, and so much more. To help me go through this, I have Lindy Lee. Lindy, thank you for joining me again.
Always such an honor to join you, Stephen.
So let me give my audience just some background. Lindy Lee is a political strategist. She used to be a political strategist for Kamala Harris. Her eyes have been opened. She has realized this is not the party that I want to be a part of. She is now a critic of the DNC and a supporter of conservative values. And we've talked about this. You already had a lot of conservative values, but I want to play something. FBI Director Kash Patel, he snaps up on the Hill. He goes off on Senator Adam Schiff after Adam Schiff tries to corner him about Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and just goes absolutely wild. Let me bring this to the stage and we'll watch this together.
The cabinet members associated with Mr. Epstein. Let me ask you one last question. And that is, right after she gives this testimony in front of an FBI agent, among others, she's transferred to a minimum security prison not suitable for a sex offender like herself. Who made that decision and why?
The Bureau of Prisons.
The Bureau of Decisions made it in
prisons.
The Bureau of Prisons decided on their own, without any consultation with Blanche or anyone else, that they were going to suddenly, after this interview, completely unrelated to this interview, completely unrelated to anything she said, move her to a prison not suitable for a sex offender. You want the American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No, I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of
you're
inmates.
Not in the weeds?
What I am doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And we have countlessly proven you to be a liar in Russiagate, in January 6th. You are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
Well, you can take an internet troll.
Take it to the bank that the FBI is protecting this country and the state and citizens of the California. We are bringing historic reform. Point of order. But all you care about is a child sex predator that was prosecuted by a prior administration, and the Obama Justice Department and the Biden Justice Department did squat. And what did President Trump do? Bring new charges courageously. And what have we done?
Chairman,
you said I'm the most transparent FBI director in history. 33,000 pages of information to you. I challenge you to say anything credibly to the truth. Go ahead and run to the cameras where you want to go now.
Be quiet.
I'm sorry.
So I know Adam.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I just want to say he deceived me. He deceived the American people. And Stephen, you mentioned that I used to be a political strategist for the Democrats. I want to say I am ashamed that I was. It is something that still haunts me every day. And I have to say that I believed Adam. I believed him when he said that there was Russian collusion. And I was wrong to believe him. But in my mind, it was like the NBC News is telling you this, Adam Schiff is telling you this, American intelligence community, they all signed a letter saying that Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation. They did everything to orchestrate this hoax. So for people who just believed mainstream media, who bought into the narrative, it was almost like the entire world, everyone that we respected was telling us this, but it was all a lie. There was no Russia hoax. I mean, there was no Russia collusion. And so Adam Schiff was one of the biggest architects of that. And he doesn't have any sense of contrition. And it just completely, somebody needs to apologize and to be held responsible for the fact that Hillary Clinton's talking points on the Russia hoax was basically laundered through the American intelligence community. And a huge part of that reason was Adam Schiff. He was constantly out there. So I'm not that interested in what he has to say about anything else. He has forfeited his trust.
Lindy, my audience, well, my older audience knows this, but I was also tricked by Adam Schiff. I voted for Donald Trump, and then I was busy starting a company, raising young children. I was watching CNN. I didn't realize that they were propaganda. And I would watch Adam Schiff come out and say, if you guys knew what I was learning about the president in this skiff, you would be sickened. And I believed it. I saw the Robert Mueller thing. So I don't want you, like, you were on the left being tricked. I was on the right being tricked. And now I think that's why this clip brings me so much joy, because I watched Christopher Wray lie over and over again like a wimpy director of the FBI about all kinds of different things. And now you've got Kash Patel calling him out. You're a liar. You sit in privilege from your perch, lying to the American people about January 6th, about Russia. You're an absolute buffoon. I would love the opportunity to say those things to Senator Adam Schiff. So I just applaud Kash Patel for having the courage to go ahead and tell what millions, tens of millions of Americans have in their mind about him.
Yeah, and you're spot on. And I'm not one to divulge private texts, and it's going to take me a while to pull it up, but I can't tell you the number of times that Adam Schiff begged to come to my house for a fundraiser. It really rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't know the guy that well. I did host like Josh Shapiro, like people who I know very well, like Tammy Duckworth and everything. But politicians like that, he wasn't the only one to just beg me over and over again to give them money, to open my home to them. Like I owe them something. It just seems so mercenary to me, so craven almost. It just, I don't know. It's just not something a good man would do. So I think it just speaks to his character or lack thereof, you know?
Yeah. Maybe he wanted to go to your house because he was confused. Oh, is my primary residence in Maryland or is it in California? Maybe I'll just go over to Lindy Lee's and pick
Well,
up
the reason is because they all saw me as a Pennsylvania wallet. There were like 3 or 4 people in Pennsylvania, the bundlers, prominent bundlers, and they would just do the rounds. I heard from Senator Cortez Masto in Nevada that they were sharing my number on the Senate floor. So yeah, I am not surprised, but it's a huge violation of my privacy. I never gave them the permission to do that, but they just felt entitled to my money.
Wow. Okay, let me ask you this. There's with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, you've got the left saying he's dead because of Donald Trump. He's dead because MAGA voters voted Donald Trump back into office. He's dead because of his own words. It's the right that's causing all of the problems. The right is the party of violence. We are the party of kindness. Over on the right, you say, you can't call us Hitler and Nazis and the biggest threat to democracy and the worst thing that's ever happened to America and the biggest threat to the future of America and not have something happen. Your thoughts on the rhetoric that goes back and forth between the left and the right?
Let me just say, Charlie Kirk took a chance on me. He supported me when people didn't know me very well on the right. You know, it was the first days when I made the switch. He didn't have to do that. He went out on a limb for me. He was a fundamentally, I can't believe I'm using past tense verbs. He was a fundamentally decent man. And he was murdered because he was so incredibly effective. He was single-handedly shifting young American men to the right. I don't know if people have realized, but there has now been a divergence between young men and young women. Young women are veering off to the left and becoming more liberal, while young men are becoming more conservative. I think young Gen Z men are even becoming more conservative than older Americans. And I think in large part that is due to Charlie and Turning Point and other people like you who make it okay, who make it cool even to be a decent man, to be a husband, to be a father, to have children, to uphold traditional values. So all credit to you. But let's be clear, Charlie was killed because he was doing it so well. He was a quintessential conservative family guy, and they couldn't stand it.
Yeah. I had the honor of interviewing him twice. His group covered the cost of my VIP tickets to come to the one and only political event. When they found out I'd never been to a political event with over 1.5 million conservative followers, they were like, dude, you've got to get into politics. You've got to come down here. And I was just absolutely blown away.
They invited you to a Turning Point event?
Yeah, I went to the one right before Christmas last year, America Fest, AmFest. 2 days, my wife and I went there, and we were just blown away by the love, all the incredible people. It made me realize just how deep and good the bench is for the Republican Party and just how weak the bench is for the Democrat Party. It made me very proud to be an American. But yeah, I got to interview him twice. The group brought me down. To this day, I've only been to one political thing in my whole life. And it was because of Charlie Kirk. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. I'm really happy that you got to experience that.
Yeah, it was really, really, really amazing. Let me show you a clip. This is Senator Eric Schmidt. He's the former Attorney General of Missouri, now Senator. And he goes off on how this isn't just one-sided, that the left is constantly saying that MAGA is the new Nazis, that Trump is Hitler. They use this rhetoric. Let me pull this up and we'll watch it together and then we'll react to it.
We've heard years of the left, their loudest voices calling anyone on the right extremist MAGA Republicans, fascists, Nazis, an existential threat to democracy. Check yourself and don't give me this both sides bullshit. Mr. Director, I want to ask you, tell me if each one of the following perpetrators or alleged perpetrators were acting from a left-wing or right-wing political violence. The man who tried to kill Republican congressman at the congressional baseball practice, nearly killing House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, left-wing or right-wing violence?
Sir, I believe it was a left-wing ideology.
Okay. Burned down cities during the Summer of Love in the George Floyd riots, left-wing violence or right-wing violence?
Sir, I'll rely on you on these. I don't have off the top of my head.
Okay, left-wing. The Waukesha Christmas Parade massacre, left-wing or right-wing violence? Left-wing. The Lee Zeldin stabbing attempt, left-wing or right-wing? Left-wing. The Covenant school shooting in Nashville, left-wing or right-wing? Left-wing. The Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt on President Trump, left-wing or right-wing? Left-wing. The Trump International West Palm Beach assassination attempt, left-wing. The Abundant Life Christian school shooting, left-wing. The United Care CEO's murder, left-wing. Tesla's burned, keyed, damaged, firebombed, left-wing. The murders at the Israeli embassy, left-wing. The ICE facilities firebombed, left-wing. The Minnesota Catholic school shooting, left-wing. The anti-white Charlotte and North Carolina stabbing, left-wing. The attempted Utah News State firebombing, left-wing. And now, of course, the culmination of this vile trend, a left-wing assassination of Charlie Kirk. So don't give me this both sides. If we want to get to unity, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Free speech, yes. Political violence, no. But let's be honest.
All right. That's a long list of violence that has come from the left against the right. The language for almost 10 years has just absolutely demonized us. Your thoughts on that? And as you were in the depths of the Democrat Party, did you see them using this kind of language in order to stoke hatred or fear or even raise money?
Oh, absolutely they did. It was their bread and butter. They would send us talking points using that language, how they are far-right extremists, how they are Nazis, how just the ugliest of terminology became so like mundane that it's like, of course, it's it wasn't even shocking to me because they would do it every single time. It was like the boy who cried wolf. If everyone's Hitler, then no one's Hitler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like everything is over the top for them. Even after I left the party, somebody hijacked my Wikipedia page and said I was a far-right extremist. It's still at the bottom of my page. It's still there, like for anyone who's interested. Conservative values are not far-right. Thinking that men shouldn't be in women's sports is not far right. Thinking that we should take care of the American people first instead of tens of millions of people from South America is not far right. It's patriotic. It's America first. It's not Nazi speak. You know, everything for them is Hitler. Okay, caring about Americans first, wanting to spend billions of dollars here rather than billions of dollars overseas on trans operas is not far right. It's common sense. It's America first. It just like everything with them is so over the top.
Wow. Let me just clarify something. When you say that they sent out talking points, like everybody just kind of knew what to say, or was there like an actual
No, they sent out talking points. Like the DNC, I would get talking points from the White House digital office. Like they sent out talking points. One of the times that they sent out, they were most aggressive about it was when the Robert Hur report came out.
Yeah.
You remember he said Biden was a well-meaning old man with a poor memory?
Yes.
And we were sent talking points to basically assassinate this guy's character. You know, Robert Hur is a member of the Federalist Society. He is a conservative hack. He has no credibility, whatever.
Wow. Do you still have copies of those?
I have tons of emails of talking points. I have to find that one in particular. I know who it came from.
Yeah. Would you mind just sending any of those to me? I had no idea.
Yes.
I mean,
let me email.
You've probably seen this, Lindy, but you know, something big will happen, right? And then next thing you know, like 25 Democrats put out almost an identical video. And I have said to my audience, I have said to my audience, it's almost like they're being given bullet points or a script, and now you're confirming that this has happened.
Let me
you can send it afterwards.
Let me just send you one from, I'm going to do it right now. Let's do it while your audience is here. This is at the top of my inbox, so I'm just going to give it to you. Like, for example, Kamala Harris's office on reproductive rights, something like that. Every day it would be another set of talking points. I just sent it to you. I just searched talking points, but I realized that they probably wouldn't call it talking points. So I have to look up the topic. You know what I mean? But on every issue, they would just send us a script to follow. Did you get it? It's from Chris Evans. It's Kamala Harris's communications director.
I'm waiting for it to come through. It hasn't come through. Once it does, I'll pop it up on the screen.
I sent it to your Gmail.
Okay, I'll watch for it. It just has not come through yet.
I realize now they wouldn't say talking points. It would just be the topic. So I have to find them one by one.
Okay. I'll put this in once it comes through, because it just came through, but I want to make sure that I don't include people's emails or private. So we'll
let me send you another one. This is a very high ranking, the associate counsel of Kamala Harris, and they would just send it out. So just give you a taste, like every single day. This is not an anomaly. Every single day, to the point where I created a filter and it went into the trash. And that is, you know what I mean? Like I'm not interested in being anyone's mouthpiece.
Yeah.
That's not who I am. Stephen, you know that much about me now. I'm not going to be here and regurgitate somebody else's script. Everything I'm saying is me. Yeah. And so I've always been kind of a rebel. So I just sent you another one. This is the deputy communications director. And so they would give us pre-made tweets. If you look at the bottom of the email, it would say stuff like, the VP gets it. The VP just connected the dots on Joy Reid. I don't know if you can see that, but so at the bottom, these are ready-made tweets that we could just, plunk in and tweet out.
Yeah, no, I'm reading this about abortion where it's like,
I just sent you another.
say Kamala Harris did this, say she was on this show, talk about this, make sure you remind
That's exactly
people
right.
about that.
And but that was just Kamala Harris's office. I would get it from the White House as well, from the digital office. I don't want to, some of these people are civilians and not that high ranking, so I don't want to ruin their lives. But, you know, they would just give us like, you know, it was a deep fake. Biden fumbling his words was a deep fake. It was Russian disinformation or whatever it was.
Did you see, oh shoot, I just forgot her name. She was the White House.
Karine Jean-Pierre.
Karine Jean-Pierre, thank you. She just came out and basically said that somebody told her, they put in the White House binder to call anything bad about Biden cheap fakes. She's like, I didn't even know what it meant. I didn't know, like, I just literally regurgitated, these are cheap fakes. I didn't even know what I was talking about. And then later at the end, she says, I was never even with Biden. Did you know your liver is the second largest organ in your body and responsible for over 500 vital functions? Yet over 30% of Americans have a sluggish liver, and most don't even know it. That's why it's important to tell you about Dose for Your Liver, a powerful science-backed daily shot designed to cleanse and protect your liver naturally. This tiny but mighty formula supports digestion, reduces bloating, boosts energy, and even improves sleep. In fact, in a double-blind placebo-controlled trial, 86% of participants lowered their liver enzymes by 50%. Now, one dose is 17 turmeric shots, and it's gluten-free, dairy-free, and 100% vegan, and it tastes delicious. Your liver works hard for you every day. It's time to return the favor. Support your body's filter with Dose for Your Liver and feel the difference from the inside out. Save 25% on your first month of subscription by going to dosedaily.co/Gardner and enter Gardner at checkout. Again, dosedaily.co/Gardner for 25% off your first month's subscription.
Well, that actually, Stephen, let me just tell you, she was one of the least respected members of Biden world. That much is true. Everyone thought she was nice, but she is kind of, and I say this with the utmost respect, she's kind of dumb. Like, I'm trying to be nice here. And so Anita Dunn, who's basically running the White House, tried to get her fired a couple years ago, but because she was a protected member.
Yeah, black lesbian. Yep.
Okay, I didn't want to say it, but yeah, okay, there we go.
She's at the lowest part of the Harvard hierarchy. So you have a white male is the most powerful and dangerous, and then you have a black lesbian, which is the most undesirable person on planet Earth, according to Harvard, not according to Stephen Gardner.
Yeah, but she checks all the DEI boxes is what I mean.
Yeah.
So she is a protected class twice over. And I think she's from a foreign country too, which, you know, so that, you know, is even better from their eyes. So she was in, for lack of a better word, unfireable. You cannot fire her. Regardless of incompetence or lack of ability, you just can't fire her. Anita Dunn, who's one of the most powerful people in the country at the time, was not able to fire her. Just to give you a sense of how deeply ingrained DEI is. Wow. And to be fair, I know a lot of people on the right didn't like Jen Psaki, and I don't like her either, especially since she was negotiating her MSNBC deal while she was still employed by the American people, which I think is a huge ethical lapse.
Yeah.
But I will say that she was far more effective than Karine Jean-Pierre. Like, she was not stupid.
Yeah.
She's not a great person, but she's not stupid.
Yeah.
KJP is another story. And so, Stephen, I told you something offline. I sent you a text about something that I'm happy to share with your audience at a later date. But let me just tell you, my version of what happened to KJP is going to be much more beneficial to the American people. There will be no obfuscation. You know, I'm going to tell the American people the truth. about what happened. It was a conspiracy. And Kamala Harris, she's out with a book. She's saying, oh, there was no conspiracy. He was just tired. Oh, he was just tired. No, honey, you are one of the biggest architects of this conspiracy. Whether you may not have called it conspiracy at the time, but everybody was in on it. And Stephen, for too long, I was in on the wrong side, but I left before the election. These people stuck it out and still stuck to the script, even to this day. What, it's been like 10 months after the election, they are still lying. I have left for longer than a year now, telling the truth, and they are still lying. They're still saying he was tired.
Yeah, well, that's because they don't want to look like freaking morons, because we can all see through the bull crap. Speaking of Biden, let me get your thoughts on this. You know, it more and more is coming out about these auto pen pardons. The president of the United States didn't know about many of them.
He only knew about one. You know, which
he
one
didn't participate in them, and he wasn't mentally capable of understanding how they were using the pardon power behind his back. Do you believe that these will come out as a fraud and be reversed?
Again, I will be giving information to people about this, because I do think it's a fraud. There's only one pardon that we know for sure he signed. You know which one?
Was it Hunter? It
was Hunter. Yeah, he definitely signed that one, of course. I mean, he had a vested interest. He himself was implicated. And I want to remind your viewers that it was 10 years. The pardon for Biden covered, the pardon for Hunter covered 10 years, from 2014 to December 2024. And that covered his Burisma years, when he was making bank from Ukraine for doing nothing but being the son of the vice president. So, and it wasn't just him. It was James Biden. It was their entire family. Everybody was basically in on it except Ashley, because she was off. Again, she threatened to sue me because I said there was a Biden cover-up. I was on Sean Ryan's show and she threatened to sue me. It seemed like, honestly, it seemed drunk. But like, she was off doing her own thing. Everybody else in the family was involved in it. It was like Biden Incorporated. Every one of them was enriched.
Wow. Well, I look forward to hearing what you have to say, and we'll have you back on as soon as that thing happens. Let me ask you about this. How does the Democrat Party weaponize race against their own voters, but
They're
also
race hustlers?
Yeah, against Republican. Let me give an example. So President Trump has been begged to come to Chicago. Democrats say, hey, this is a blue state and a blue city, hands off, right? So President Trump says, okay, well, we'll go into a red state, Tennessee, that has a Republican governor. What's the worst city there? Okay, it's Memphis, Tennessee. It's a Democrat city. Democrats have controlled it since 1971. That's 54 years. It has the highest murder rate and crime rate in America. Now they plug in the chess piece race. He's only going in because there's Black Americans there, and Trump is the biggest racist that ever walked planet Earth. Help my audience understand how they use race against their own people and against Republicans.
Stephen, that's just spot on. And these people are raised hustlers. They are, I call them grievance grifters. Some of them don't want to take any responsibility for their own lives, so they have to blame some other group that's doing better than them. They think the entire world owes them reparations. I just feel like, you know, they haven't been able to make anything of their own lives, so they want to scapegoat other people. You know, it's, even when I was on that side, I used to complain about affirmative action because it would discriminate against white and East Asians, basically. The biggest victims of affirmative action are white people and Asian people, who score the highest on tests and examinations and get the highest grades. But, you know, they're penalized because of their race. And they would tell me, oh, but think about slavery, think about Jim Crow. It's just like, how long are you going to blame something that happened 300, 200 years ago? When are you going to take responsibility for your own lives? My family and I came here with nothing. We didn't rely on anybody. We didn't take any handouts. We weren't on the government dole. We didn't demand reparations. We didn't burn down buildings. We just worked our butts off. You know, what is preventing you from doing that? When are you going to step up and take life by the horns and do something useful instead of complaining every day and say, woe is me, white people owes me, white people owe me, reparations. And it's just a complete lack of self-responsibility. And the entire Democratic Party is a grift like that. It's all about DEI and equality of outcome rather than equality of opportunity. Yeah.
And obviously slavery was awful. And I'm glad that we are past that. But like, I specifically see them where, they're not for Black Lives Matter, right? Otherwise they would want assistance cleaning this up. You have the Black residents of Memphis, business owners, like married people with families saying the crime is out of control. We need help. But as soon as he tries to go in, boom, he must be racist, right? Like I see how they use like mental illness and race and equality and gender and people from other countries. Like any chance they get, they weaponize these words: anti-Semitism, xenophobia, racism, terrorism. They use all of this against the Republican Party. But now that I've been covering this so long, it's literally just chess pieces. It's like a plug and play game for them.
Oh, that's absolutely right. It's kind of like, this fill in the blank games that we used to play as a kid. Like, you're a Nazi, you're an anti-Semite, you're a bigot, you're a racist, everything. They can't attack you on the substance, so they make these stupid, ridiculous personal attacks. And it just it's falling upon deaf ears. The American people aren't buying it anymore, as demonstrated by the 2024 election. It's just like, if you call everyone Hitler, as I said, nobody is Hitler. It just completely loses all meaning if everyone is Adolf Hitler.
Oh. Let me play a clip for you in the audience from rock star Kid Rock talking about that very thing, and then we'll discuss it.
I've said it and I'll say it again because I think it needs to be echoed until they get it through their fat skulls. The mainstream media is freaking public enemy number one right now. Just the clips you just ran of these people from the New York Times and these other nut houses they call media establishments. It's absolutely freaking ridiculous. I mean, and then they say that, Charlie Kirk, God bless him, by the way, his wife, kids, that, he's inciting this, he's inciting that. I'm someone who understands better than anyone as being a very vocal Trump supporter from day one. They've called me a racist Nazi for years now. I mean, go look up a few facts about my life, my children, where everything. But other people start to echo this. Just people who write dumb articles who think, I'm trash and I hate my music, and they say he's just a racist Nazi. And, this starts to build and build and build. So you get these nut house kids who are doing nothing but playing video games, watching these occult movies that are all over our streaming services that won't go outside to play any sports or anything. And, then they think they're going to do something good. I'm going to go kill a Nazi. I'm going to go kill a racist. And they're literally mentally deranged. We need to bring the frickin' nut houses back.
Yeah, you're incentivizing these loner kids to take shots so they can be heroes. And then every time after it happens, kid, they say, oh, we all have to come together. We all have to come to both sides are violent, both sides. And then they just move on and start calling us fascists again.
Well, I've heard a lot of my liberal friends say it, and they're exactly right. Like, you don't want to mess with us people. We have the guns. We know how to use them. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants an all-out war. We understand that everyone on the left is not sick, but there are enough people in the media and enough of these crazy liberals that just create this big echo chamber. And I'm not saying there aren't crazy right-wingers that do some of this too. There's a little bit of guilty on both sides, but these people, I mean, they're supposed to be this inclusive, this, that, and the other. And they're the ones that don't want to talk and get along with anyone, just don't even want to sit down and break bread. I mean, I'm in this business where some of my friends, people I've had big hits with, call me with this whack out stuff all the time.
Yeah, we got to start listening to each other and respect one another. Is there any message you want to get across real quickly to people that are still vandalizing vigils and celebrating this murder?
Yeah, you're going to keep it up. You're going to run into the wrong people.
Yeah.
Some people I know.
Yeah.
And aren't going to play that mess. And it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be very ugly.
Do you think that there are people within the Democrat Party that know that they can use language to get somebody to a crazy level of fervor, label the enemy Hitler, Nazis, the right-wing extremists, ultra MAGA, threat to democracy, and they know somebody will go do the crime on their behalf, and then they have plausible deniability?
Yes, and that's something called stochastic terrorism. They absolutely know that. And we have to look into the George Soros funded protests, especially in the No Kings rallies that we saw a couple months ago. These protests and these rioters are bankrolled by leftist organizations. Let's be clear. There are paid protesters too. Not only are they goading people on, they are financially incentivizing people to cause a ruckus, to cause chaos. I'm not even sure how much of this is organic. I know a lot of it is, but a lot of it is also, driven by monetary motives. And it's just, I want to see every single one of these politicians have blood on their hands for repeatedly calling Charlie Kirk, for repeatedly calling Trump a Nazi or a fascist or Hitler. They do. Because I don't know if you saw a stat that said that 1 out of 4 liberal women have a mental disorder. Did you see that?
I did, yes.
I believe that. And I want to say something personal here. I had a health problem 7 years ago. They put me on birth control. It had nothing to do with sex, actually. It was a health problem. And that was supposed to have helped me. But that also messed up my mental health. It made me very anxious and worried all the time. And because of that, I came off. And I tried to tell them, I was like, I'm very anxious now. And she's like, oh, it's all in your head. It's a figment of your imagination. And I'm like, no, this is literally making me anxious. And I came off the birth control, thank God. And it was one of the best decisions I ever made. And afterwards, I remember telling my family, I was like, wow, conservatives were right all along. Birth control is actually really bad for you. It messes with your hormones. It's basically it's hormone therapy. It boosts your levels of estrogen. It just changes the chemical imbalance of your brain. And no wonder it makes you very sad and upset. And so many women are on it, and so many Americans are on SSRIs. We don't talk enough about that, which is why I give Bobby Kennedy so much credit, because he's tackling those issues. We shouldn't be so overly medicated. And I think the connection between over-medication and political polarization, especially on the left, is a strong one that should be more examined. The HRT, the transitioning, the hormone replacement therapy, the SSRIs, the birth control. I think this is actually driving some of the craziness on the left.
Speaking of RFK, a couple weeks ago, man, were the Democrats mean to him. Just like their questions were like, not only did they ask something, but they were posed in a way that made him look really evil, and that's why they had to call it out to the public. Would you guess that maybe the lobbyists of Big Pharma were behind some of the preparation and the questions that were asked?
Stephen, I'm not guessing. I know. Because on that side, they take so much money from the pharmaceutical industry. And let me point out one person in particular. Bernie Sanders takes so much money from Big Pharma. It's like so much money. He's one of the biggest recipients. And I said this before on Newsmax, they should wear a NASCAR jacket with all the brands, all the pharmaceutical brands on them, so we can know who owns them. Because I'm telling you now, Bernie is owned by Pfizer, Merck, Johnson & Johnson, Bristol Myers Squibb, AstraZeneca. And they feed them talking points. That's how Capitol Hill works. these pharmaceutical companies, these contractors, they send them talking points and they regurgitate them like it's gospel in the congressional hearing room. It's true. It happens. And it's just not just big pharma, by the way. There are all sorts of companies too. But like Elizabeth Warren is not immune to this. She parades herself like she's some holy figure, some infallible person. But she also takes money from big pharma. They have an incentive to preserve the status quo. It just like, and another thing about the trans thing, for me, the whole thing is just a tragedy. It's just a tragedy to see all these children undergoing this process. It's a lot of the time it's irreversible. But also I want to draw people's attention to the profit motive, because one person who's transitioning represents a lifetime. It represents a lifelong customer. These people, in order to change your gender, you're going to have to be receiving hormone treatments, arguably for the rest of your life. And so it represents an income stream for these pharmaceutical industries who have a profit motive, who then buy our politicians, who then spew these lies and deception into the American consciousness. It's a vicious cycle that I want to point out. A lot of the times you just got to follow the money.
Yeah. I liked when Bernie Sanders was literally yelling at RFK, we have a corrupt financial system and raising money to run for president. It's all corrupt. It's all corrupt. We all take money. We all take this corrupt money. Are you saying you didn't? And RFK is like, are you saying that big pharma bankrolled my run for president? And then he just laughed, right? Like they've taken so much money from big pharma. And this is the corporate capture that RFK Jr. was talking about. It was one of the reasons that if Trump wasn't running, I might have voted for RFK Jr. because I could see that what he was saying about corporate capture was absolutely true.
Yes, and I just hate how you talk about Bernie. He positions himself, his posture is one, he pretends that he's immune, that he famously has a line on his contribution form. This isn't funded by billionaires. Okay, but it's funded by big pharma. You take so much money. Like even on the Democratic side, he was notorious for taking money from big pharma. No wonder he's pissed off, because his masters are pissed off. These people need to fully disclose in the Senate hearing room who they're funded by, because I will bet you that the American people will tune out as soon as they hear who their sponsors are. And Bernie Sanders is bankrolled by the very people that Bobby Kennedy is battling every day.
Yeah. I think they should also let us know which stocks they own.
Oh, exactly. Nancy Pelosi, my goodness.
Oh, we've got to keep giving money to all of these wars. I just also happen to have $50 million in war defense stocks. The whole system has gone corrupt.
What Nancy Pelosi has done over the years, I think is criminal. I think it's absolutely criminal how much money she's made. There's even, I'm an investor on my own. I obviously not a member of Congress, but she is a member of Congress who's privy to information. And then her husband has made a killing over the years. Like she is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And there are things about her that I will say in the coming months that will absolutely shock you. Like you think it's bad now, it's even worse. The things that she has done to friends, people like Dianne Feinstein, who clearly wasn't capable of holding office any longer. And then you saw Nancy's daughter basically wheeling her around everywhere. There's a story behind that. More to come later. But I'm just saying, you think Nancy is bad, it gets worse.
All right. I can't wait to hear it. I don't want you to, I know you got stuff lined up. So if people want to follow you online, what are some links I can put down below?
I'm on Twitter, Lindy Lee, also on Instagram. Stephen, I just want to say that I watch you all the time. You are so low key. You are low key brilliant, as this generation would say. I just love your work so much. You present things in such a I don't know if homespun is the word, but just such a natural and unaffected way. And it's just great. You are the reason why, you and Charlie, and I am putting you in the same sentence because I think you guys are doing the Lord's work. You are single-handedly making it cool again to be conservative. You are shifting the Overton window, you know,
Trying to.
helping truly, and for once making it okay to embrace Western civilization. I think for too long our country has been down on Western civilization. I think it's something we should be proud of. You know, we do have manifest destiny. That is something to be proud of, not to be ashamed of. We saw Obama on his apology tour going around the world apologizing for being American. No more of that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just want to thank you for everything that you do. I think truly you are doing a public service.
No, I appreciate that. It's taxing on me sometimes, but Charlie was great at it, much smarter than me, excellent debater. I like to research stuff and ask questions and then get smart people like you on to help me get the answer. So I really appreciate you taking time out of your day. I'm going to put a link to your show as well as your X account so that people can follow you online. We'll have you on again in the future. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Stephen, thank you so much.